Welcome to the podcast. We are excited for you to be here, and we're excited to be here. Jake, I'm excited to be sitting next to you today.
I am as well. I'm excited to be feeling significantly better than last time we recorded this.
You got color back in your face.
Yeah, I was white. Yeah. I'm still white, but significantly more pale, and I was sick, and I was throwing up.
You're like a healthy pale. Like just, you're like a healthy pale.
You don't look like you're dying.
Yeah, you don't look like oh God, your world's ending. You just look like your average.
Dude, it was
healthy,
rough.
Pale self.
I think everyone in my family, my wife, 2 boys, both my mom and dad, they came over for the holidays, and it was tough.
Yeah, but it turned out great. I'm excited about today's episode because there's so much that has happened since the last time we recorded, and the one thing that I'm really, really looking forward to is what we're going to be chasing down in 2024, and we'll probably get into that a little bit later. But you sent me something.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring this up on the show. So I found, for any of you watching this that have your own business, or you're a sales professional looking to make more money, everybody talks about the big goal is making $10,000 a month or $1,000 a day. Yeah. And I actually found something. I found something online that will allow you to make $1,000 a day. And so I want to.
Wait, is this approved? Is this legal? You can actually make.
Oh yeah, this is approved by the FTC, the
FDA,
the
ATF,
CBC, the CVS,
729ers.
Oh yeah, all of them approve of this.
Yeah, I love it.
So I want you to check this out right here.
All right. No. This section right here, nope. The dropping down, there's not a chance.
Is that not insane?
You have to do all this for $1,000 a day?
$1,000 a day. That's all you have to do, man.
That dude looks like he was going to die. What are they doing with the chain? No.
I actually don't think. I think that actually looks kind of fun.
You would. No, see that with the ocean? I don't do oceans. And the drilling under the water. No. Yeah, no. Okay. No. Here's the deal. $1,000 a day to literally put your life at risk every second of that day is they're being severely underpaid, especially if you think about how much money is in the oil industry.
Oh, yeah.
How much money is in the oil industry right now? Google that. Can we Google that?
A lot
Where's
of
our
money.
producer at that has all of this information? Asking that. For $1,000 a day to have to jump in between things, be in the middle of the ocean, the middle of nowhere. There's an easier way that you can make $1,000 a day. But you know what that tells me, Jake? That tells me that people don't actually work as hard as they think.
Real quick.
Okay. Did you find it?
There's this is according to Google, so it depends on how much you trust the.
Well, it's on the internet, so you always trust it. Yeah,
but it says the global oil and gas industry profited in 2022. It jumped to $4 trillion from $1.5 trillion in recent years. That's a pretty significant amount of money.
$4 trillion. So let's see here. If you were to carry the one, I bet they could pay those guys $2,000 a day.
Just a little more.
And not feel it maybe on their bottom line or their 100%. Top line.
But going back to your point.
Yeah.
Where there is a lot of people, we were talking with, we have calls with business owners and salespeople every single day. And we were talking with someone in particular yesterday that we won't name, that you kind of called him out a little bit because he was saying he wanted to grow his business. Do you want me to tell that story? Just, let's not name names.
I probably will get some hate for this. I know this is probably going to trigger some people because one reason or another, we all have our triggers. Are you going to crack a cold one right now on the middle of our...
Will the mic pick this up?
Okay, yeah. If not, we can post that in. So we were on the phone call. So we chat and we're talking with business owners all day long. And sometimes we have such high relational equity with business owners that it allows us to really lean in, talk to them about what they're dealing with in their business, what they're struggling with, and all of this. Okay. This one particular business owner we've known for a very long time. They're very talented. They're very gifted.
He's a kind, or they are a kind human.
It already is. Yeah. I mean, he's a great business owner. He's unbelievable. And he's very good at what he does. Very, very good.
Yes.
But like most humans, you go in waves. There are cycles when you're on the top of your momentum cycle, you're on the bottom of your momentum cycle, and you are just literally struggling. Well, as we kind of talk about, I don't know if we've ever talked about this yet, but it's the whole, we teach people, what is the difference between being kind versus being nice? Okay. Being kind versus being nice. Okay. Nice is, this is an extreme example. If I'm nice, you're in a burning car on the side of a highway, and I'm nice. I'm saying, hey, get out of that car. Get out of that car. Come on, let me help you. Let me help you. And the person inside of the car is saying, no, I'm not getting out. It's too dangerous. I'm too afraid. I'm too scared to make that decision to get out because they're so riddled with fear that they're stuck where they're at. Right? Well, being nice is just saying, come on. I don't want to offend you. I don't want you to hurt you, but I want you out. Being kind is, I would literally break down that glass in that window. I would rip the door off, whatever would need to happen, because your life is more valuable than allowing you to sit in that moment. It would be an actual malpractice of me in any capacity to allow you to continue to operate the way that you're operating. I mean, I had it with my own life. You remember when we were in Miami and Brandon Carter, we were in the kitchen and Brandon Carter, who's I think is a freaking legend, but he was like, man, you did a really great job on teaching. And he's like, you're really good. And he was like, why you struggle and suck so hard at being fat? And I was just like, I don't know. I've been working on that. I'm like, yeah, that was it. But he was being kind in that moment. Someone else could have taken what he said and been like, man, he shamed you or he whatever. I didn't take it that. I took it as like, this dude cared enough about me that he saw my potential, my talent, and didn't want to let me continue being whatever, right? Yeah. Which is like really set that journey going. Well, with this business owner, as we were chatting, there was a moment where I was like, I'm forced to be nice or kind right now. Now, I know I'm going to be kind because that's how we operate. But this business owner was operating at such a low level of what they were capable of that I had to literally just stop. And I said, hey, man, I love you. I care about you. So I mean this with all due respect. You're being a little bitch right now. And it was like, and it like shook him and woke him up. Now I get, I probably, we probably got
You wouldn't say that to someone that you just met. Or to
I wouldn't say it to even most business owners that I don't have that relational equity. But I knew in that moment, it would be the splash of cold water that hit them in the face that was like, okay, you're right. And did you see he kind of like bowed up a little bit? He was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? It charged him. But then it was also followed by, encouragement, compliment. I was uplifting him, like I was giving him words of affirmation right after that. Because I wanted him to see like, hey, wake up. Like there are people for $1,000 a day jumping in the freaking ocean in the middle of nowhere, trying to, spray off some nasty crap on, some pipes that are going down to the floor. Right. It's just absolutely bonkers what people will do for $1,000 a day, like that video. And you won't make a phone call?
Yeah. He was worried about, and we talk with people all the time that deal with this where they say, oh, I want to make X or I want to do X, but they're not actually willing to pay the cost of it. And really it comes down to, just laziness. People are so lazy and we have it so good. Like I feel so incredibly blessed with the business that we have and the clients that we work with and just the structure of our business and what we're able to do because we have flexibility, because we don't have to, work on frickin' oil rigs or, do some of those crazy jobs. Like my family, on my mom's side of the family, they all grew up as like farmers and ranchers. And a lot of them still are in New Mexico. And I have a immense amount of respect for those people because that is hard work. Like my uncle this year, he has a pecan He's a pecan.
A pecan.
Pecan orchard. And that man is like one of the smartest people that I know and one of the hardest working people that I know. And this year, so he put tons of effort and energy into the year, watering the crops, trimming the trees, and then the crop like froze over. Like there's nothing from it. Like he lost half of his crop. So you have 6 months of time, effort, and energy that you're putting into something, planning to, you have one time in the season where you basically harvest and cash things out, and then it freezes and you don't have anything.
And we got people saying, oh, they didn't answer my call. They no-showed. Oh, that business owner wasn't happy.
I've had 6 no-shows in a row.
That business owner wasn't happy with the services I delivered, and they don't want to stay on working for me. It's like, we've lost this, man. We lost it. I love that you bring this up because I was having a conversation with a good friend of ours, Alex, who I was working out with. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I legitimately want us to take our sons on like some type of trip. Because what I'm realizing is this statement that we're making, like, bro, I ain't going out to an oil rig. I mean, like,
no.
God forbid something happened. It was like my family's life, or I go to the oil rig. Obviously, I'm going to the oil rig. But I'm saying I'm going to do everything I can to leverage my skill set to not have to do that, right?
Yeah. And to be clear, I would say one of the things that both of us are saying is I'm not trying to imply that I'm not also someone who's lazy and someone 100%. Who like, dude, I deal with that. I'm just saying how fortunate and blessed we are in the world that we live in, where you can make money by calling people on the phone and taking sales calls.
I'm totally with you. I think if we look at a video like that and we're not inspired to realize how good we have it, how easy we have it, like, so we're talking about our sons, right? We both have, you actually have 2 sons, but me and Alex, we got these 2 sons, they're pretty much the same age. And I'm like, yo, we need to do something that puts them in a situation where they have to start really earning it. Now, my son's got a business. He's on his 3rd year of his business. He's made really good money. I'm proud of him for a 10-year-old and what he's doing. But no matter what I have him do, I mean, from cleaning out the garage, dishes. I mean, our kids since 7 have been doing their own laundry. They handle all the dishes. If you've seen, they clear the table, they knock out the whole entire kitchen counter, sweeping. And this is a daily thing. Why? Because that's a part of what it means to be in this household. We all contribute. We're all in it. But no matter what, because of the world that we live in, it's 2024 at the time of this recording, the level of hard that my son's going to encounter will never be the level of hard of what your grandfather encountered.
No.
Well, some people say, oh, well, that's because we're progressing and we're growing as a society. And I think there's some truth to that. Yes, I love the lavish things and we love, life and where we're at. But I also am concerned, at least for my son, that no matter what I put him through, it's still manufactured.
Yeah.
It's still a manufactured version of hard. It will never be like what, our grandparents had gone through. And maybe even some of in my generation, even for what my father, my father grew up, there was a portion of his time when he was in West Virginia and it's dinner time. He's going out there, grabbing a chicken, wringing it by his neck, plucking plucking it up and so that they can even eat it. And I'm just like, that's a whole nother way of living. And I just think that even like you taking your boys out there, over the holidays.
I want us to. We went out there for Thanksgiving, and that was, my oldest son is 6, and that was the first time that they'd gone out there and they were able to see my granddad has, I think, close to 5,000 acres, and he farms on that. Typically farms like wheat and alfalfa. I didn't even think we were going to talk about this, but yeah, farms wheat and alfalfa. And then I think he probably has maybe 100 head of cattle. I could be completely wrong there, but super small. But for them to see that and see, just get a glimpse of that is important. I didn't even, my mom grew up every single summer. She spent her summers on the tractor. Driving back and forth. And so I would go down there during the summers and I would do a little bit of that. But even what I experienced was it was barely what my mom grew up with. Yeah. And then what my mom grew up with was barely. My granddad would tell stories of him sitting out on the tractor and no roof or anything. The seat is metal. You have dirt blowing in your face versus what they have now where it's air conditioned. The tractors will drive themselves based off of satellites and everything. But
which again, that's not a problem if it makes them more efficient. I mean, me and you talk a lot about like, just the fact that our generations don't even truly know where food comes from. I mean, I've got one friend in my life who is completely sufficient. He literally only eats what he kills.
That's amazing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and it so he does certain hunting trips. I've known him since college. He's actually a brilliant guy. He's actually the person who took me in when I was homeless for a season. Yeah, and he's
that's
brilliant.
A good person to be. If you're going to be homeless, hang out with the guy who will teach you how to go find your own food.
Yeah, but he literally, his freezers are filled with an elk hunt, venison for his deer hunts that he does. He does hog hunts, and he lives near the water so that he can fish almost nonstop. And he was just like, I'm tired of it. He wanted that. He wanted to know. He wanted to understand, and he was probably the most fit, healthiest also humans I know as well. And I'm like, how do we get that for our kids? How do we teach them and train them and show them so that they can truly experience? And I think the driving motivator is I just want them to be grateful. I want them to have a sense of gratitude. It's like my kids have more things than I ever had growing up. I mean, my parents are amazing. They worked their tails off. They really, really worked hard work. I mean, to the point where I've shared this before, like they would paint numbers on the side of curbs just to make sure that we could have food, $10 a curb. So I know how hard they worked and what they were up against. And we might do that in another podcast about what it means to be a believer and constantly have to be poor. But because I'm just so sick of that. But they worked their tails off. And so my kids now have way more because of their hard work. Yeah. But I will do my kids a disservice if I allow this blessing to consume them and control them as opposed to inspire them, teach them, to motivate them to want more. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. That's one of the things that I actually think on a lot, and it's interesting that you bring that up. And that is honoring what you've been blessed with, because I feel like I'm in the same boat where both my parents came from very broken households, and they created an environment for my brother and my sisters to have a really, really, in my opinion, good life and upbringing. They did the best with what they knew how. And now I'm at a point where I need to double that. I need to increase that blessing where they did the best with what they know how. There's things that they'll admit they weren't perfect in. So now it's on me and it's my responsibility and moral obligation to do better, to have more increase. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, they have the opposite, where it's like, well, things were super comfortable, things were super nice, and so that's why what's the quote? Hard times make like.
Oh yeah, I don't have that memorized. We should pull that up real quick because that is a great quote.
Hard times make great men make easy times, and then easy times make...
Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Yeah, and it's this cycle. And I feel like as of now, we're kind of in a phase where we have a lot of weak people. Yeah. And we're about to experience some hard times.
Let's be honest. I'm with you. I do believe there are a lot of weak people, not physically weak. Because you have weakness in multiple areas. And let's talk about ourselves. So that way, no one watching this thinks that we're just throwing shade and throwing rocks at people. Like, we own our own weaknesses. We recently got confronted by our own weaknesses in our mindset, our weaknesses in the truth of the matter of how hard we thought we were working versus what it really cost. You know what I mean? And right. I think that we can dive into that because you are seeing a lot of people around right now. Did I show you what happened 2 days ago?
What?
Let me prove to you how far I have to go as a father. Are you ready for this? All right. So a couple days ago, I've been teaching my son, like I've been teaching him how to shoot and then he's going to go on a hunting trip.
Yeah.
He's going through his hunter safety course. We've been teaching him when I grill out or when I, cause my smoker.
Wait, are you okay with guns?
So when when we're grilling out or when I'm smoking, I try to show him how I'm trimming up the meat, how we smoke it, what we're trying to do. And I'm teaching them things. My son just got a crocheting, toy thing for Christmas. Yeah. He loves the sewing. He loves whittling. Yeah. Okay. So it's not like he's whatever, but listen to this. Okay. You ready for this? This is a text from my wife. Houston, we have a problem.
Oh no.
I asked your son to help me cook dinner. He said no. And she said, eventually you are going to have to learn how to truly cook and operate in a kitchen. He said, and I quote, "Won't my wife be the one doing that?" I'm not trying to get clickbait here by using my family. It just is the truth of the situation. As hard as I am trying, I mean, I've taught the dude how to sew. I taught him how to whittle. I'm teaching him how do you handle a firearm, teaching him how to, grill. And for some reason,
oh my gosh,
I have fallen short in this area that he thinks that he doesn't need. But my son does his own laundry. He folds everything. He knows how to sweep, vacuum, mop, all the good things. But still, there's something that happens, and it could be the product of the nature right now with where we're at in business. The one thing that Allie is doing is she's running dinners, right? Yeah. So because she's planning it all out and she has all these ideas and she's cooking and everything for us. And so that's the one thing that she is not the one thing, but that is something that she's taking over right now. So maybe he's seeing that, but I'm gonna now have to go back and be like, nah, oh my God, that's not how this works. And the world that you're going into, son, this ain't 1950s. Like they're not just sitting there in the kitchen cooking anymore. That's like some weird thing that's not reality. You know what I mean? And it's like, you need to know how to do this. And more importantly, if you truly love your wife, you would know how to cook anyway so that you could be serving her. It's the same reason I get up and I make breakfast for my wife, or I make her coffee, or I'm doing the things that I do for her because I'm trying to serve her. But I still think it boils down to, like, are you willing to do what it takes? It takes hard work to have a marriage. It takes hard work to run a business. It's hard work. You know what's hard work that most people don't want to accept in this society? Having friends. See, people just want friends that I can just go and hang out with and I can just laugh with. Oh, it's great. It's all surface. It's like, that's not a freaking friendship. That's an acquaintance or a drinking buddy. That's not real friendship. Real friendship, you're going to have to go through hard times. You're going to have to be okay disagreeing. You're going to have to be okay when you don't see eye to eye and be able to swallow your pride and suck it up and apologize and actually repent and ask for forgiveness and be able to move on. It's saying when someone's sick and they're struggling, it's like you would drop what you're doing to go help them and take care of them. We don't have that anymore. Back in your grandpa's days, they did that because that's all they had. They had their little small community. They also did a lot of
other things that were worse too.
Well, what they do?
Oh, there was just what Asher's talking about and everything, and the misogyny.
We don't want that, but I'm just saying they had a level of community.
100%.
But you can't have community without work.
Yeah, you cannot sacrifice.
Exactly. Like I think it's in Luke where it says, consider the cost. Actually, I pulled it up. I believe it's in Luke. I'm almost positive it's Luke because I'm pretty sure it's, look at all the theologians. Yeah, Luke 14:28. I was right. But don't begin until you count the cost. For who would begin construction of a building without first calculating the cost to see if there is enough room and not enough room, but if there's enough money to finish it? Right? So who would begin constructing a building without first calculating the cost to see if there's enough money to finish it? I think when we planned for this new year, when we hit our goals at the end of this year, I've ran the numbers. It would be 302%. 302% growth. That's a lot. When we planned that out, we had an actual game plan, an actual map, and we went through it. Bro, I think me and you were confronted with, do we really want what we say we want? Are we willing to make the sacrifice? Are we willing to consider the cost? Because this is going to be hard. You are in the middle of potentially changing some plans, and we won't get into that, but that could happen. that would be a major sacrifice to achieve that which you desire. And I don't think most people are realizing what it truly takes to accomplish that which you desire.
Yeah. And if you are, actually willing to do it,
Because when you see it on paper.
Well, paper's easy. Paper's super. It's like, I'm going to make $10,000 or I'm going to make $3 million this year or whatever that number is.
You're right.
It's like, that's cool. That's a number, But then when you start actually doing the math, okay, so what does that break? What do I need to be doing each quarter? What do I need to do each month? What does things need to look like on a week-to-week basis? What needs to get built? Then that becomes not just some arbitrary number that you've thrown out there, but it becomes something that's tangible. And the tangibility of what has to be done, the tasks that need to be completed, then you realize like, oh, I have to work.
Yeah.
I have to work. I have to be okay with making one more call or taking one more meeting or sending out that other email or maybe working a little bit later or maybe putting some time in on the weekends, God forbid.
Or God forbid, accepting the truth that my skill set is not where it needs to be. So for that which I lack in skill set, I have to make up for in production. People don't want to hear that because that means I might have to work more or do more than the person next to me.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're not on the same journey as you. Why are you comparing yourself to them?
Yeah.
Where are you at? Where are you? You know what I mean? Like, I can't look at these other people and be like, oh, they're further along in this journey. They have more timepieces than they have. They have that house. They have that vacation. They have more employees. They're healthier. I can't look at that. I have to look at where am I at though? What do I have to do today to be who I want to be, who I said I'd be, to honor that verbal commitment, that commitment that we've made to ourselves. And so, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's much more to say on that, but I definitely want to see with our one-to-one students that we work with our community that we have, with our clients, what I want to see us do this year is dive so deep into who they are to literally help them become the best versions that they can be. We don't need them to be anybody else. We don't need them to try to be somebody that they're not. But I want to show them by example what it means to work, what it means to push. Because I think that's going to be the greatest story that they can see, or the greatest lesson they can learn from us is how hard we pushed. And
it's fun.
It is fun.
I enjoy working.
Oh, I love it.
I have a ton of fun doing it.
And we love playing. Yeah. We love relaxing. We love chilling. We're going to talk about that in another episode. And I think we love that just as much. And I believe that you can push. You can have seasons of push, seasons of pull. I believe that we can do what we're going to accomplish, and our kids and our wives don't have to sacrifice for it.
Yep.
I think there is a balance. There's a give and take. I think there will be moments where it's like, hey, so-and-so, I got to do this, while you're going to be over here. You know what I mean? Like the other day, I didn't go to the zoo. I really wanted to go to the zoo with them, but I couldn't. Why? Because we had some things we had to do. I know, but they still went to the zoo, had a great time, and I want to be with my kids and my family because I love them. But it was one of those little moments where you're like, okay, I'm going to make. I don't know if makeup's for it, but I'm gonna shift and then have my time with them later, which we did, and it was great. So yeah. As always, thanks for listening to this episode. This is a great episode. I feel encouraged.
If you want to work at an oil rig, we'll have a link below the podcast for an application. And
thanks for watching. If you can, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button because it's super helpful and it goes great and helps us get the word out on what we're doing. But until next time, stay sharp.